watching Fox 13's Good Day Tampa Bay.
Ask a Lawyer Day here at Fox 13. Lawyers are here till about 9:30. Give them a call. Got the numbers at the bottom of your screen. One of them, Dale Appell, an old friend who comes in, does this for us every month or so.
It's a pleasure.
Good to see you.
Good morning.
We're talking about filing your taxes.
Yes.
And filing jointly or separately if you're married.
Yes.
And you will, up front, we'll say there are benefits to filing jointly.
Absolutely. Lots of benefits.
But there are problems sometimes if you file jointly and you don't know what your spouse is doing.
Yes, this is true.
Let's talk about that.
Well, there's so many benefits that about 95% of all married couples file jointly. But there's situations where you really need to step back and say, should I do this?
Give me some.
Well, for example, if you are getting married and your spouse has tax liability, they could take your refund if you file together and apply it towards your spouse's liability that he came into the marriage with. So you would lose that refund. So that's one thing to consider. Another might be if you are planning on getting a divorce or separating. If you sign a joint tax return, you would be responsible for your spouse's tax liability, even though later on you got divorced. So that's another reason to consider. If you both came into the marriage with assets and you were trying to keep them separate, so if there was a problem, if there was a divorce, you would be able to go away with the assets you came in with. If you filed jointly, that can create a problem there. And then another one, and a significant one, is if your spouse is cheating on their taxes. If they are underreporting income, if they're overreporting deductions, you can be held responsible for that, even though it was them that was doing all of the cheating. So that's something certainly to consider. Now you say, well, gosh, that doesn't seem fair. Why is it that I don't know what my spouse is doing? My spouse says, I'm going to handle the taxes. So they handle the taxes, and then later on you find out about this problem. The IRS says, well, in that situation, you can claim innocent spouse, and that way they won't hold you responsible for all the monies that your spouse would owe, but they don't make it easy.
So what does that mean?
Well, they don't make it easy because you got to prove that you were the innocent spouse. You have to prove that you didn't know. But it's even worse than that. Not only that you didn't know, but you could not have known. So you have a responsibility to go and find out if this was available information. So you have to actually know, if look into the tax return, find out what's going on, say, well, there was no way I could have known. That's another thing that could get you off as an innocent spouse. But there's one other aspect to it, and it's called equitability. You have to prove that you didn't have advantage or take advantage of the money that was saved. So if you are making a low income, you and your spouse, but you drive an expensive car, live in an expensive house, then you, one, should have known, and it wouldn't be fair for you not to be held liable. So the innocent spouse is given to some, but oftentimes is applied for and not received. So if you have a feeling that something's going on, you have to consider not filing jointly, or you might want to ask your spouse about finances, which you don't normally do, before you sign a joint tax return.
That was great. You did it all, man. You always do. Good to see you. Take care.